Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two 40% alcohol French brandies. This is St-Rémy XO Extra Old French Brandy Francais. And this company was founded in the 1880s, but this actual product didn't hit the market until 1890. And it's in a black bottle, but it's actually a dark brown bottle. It looks black, but it's dark brown. Hold on a second. I guess we would call this their premier offering. Runs about $25 a bottle. I didn't pay quite that much, but that's about what you'll see it for. Here's Branson Phantom V.S. cognac. Not just French brandy, but it's specifically cognac French brandy. It's in this, it's actually a clear glass bottle, but it's got a plastic coating on it, which you could peel from the top, but it looks like glass when you see it when it's wrapped up here. So introduced in 2019. It's produced by Raymond Ragnaud for a old brandy cognac house, and it's produced for a pop hip hop singer person. That's a rubber stopper. Neoprene, which they use. It's a synthetic rubber that they use on the bottom of shoe soles. It's spongy, and they use it in synthetic cap corks. Some people say it's better than cork because it holds up better, doesn't dry rot as fast. I guess it would over time. I'm gonna need a little bit more in this snifter. Now, they produce VSOPs and XO also, and they may have some other specialties. I saw one of the VSOPs last week in my town, but I know that store is going to have it sky high priced, and I'll probably never buy it from them. This has just a simple aluminum twist cap, nothing special. Now, if I go to Walmart here, less than 1 mile away, they'll have the St-Rémy, but they only carry the VSOP. That's the common one you see everywhere. I don't think there is a St-Rémy VS. I think the lowest grade they start with is VSOP. Yeah, brown glass. But in France, they might have a VS. It's funny because cognac and brandy largely, well, cognac is for sure, originates in France, but it's not popular there. I've talked to people who lived in France. They say, yeah, a few people drink it, like old people, but they say if you go to a bar, most people, they just drinking beer, or some women drinking wine, but and men too, I'm sure. But he said really not the popular. And I was looking at the French Cognac Association website, and they were saying it's a real problem because over 90% of the brandy produced in France is exported, and they're trying to get the people there to drink it again. I don't know if they're having too much success. It's strange, isn't it? Welcome back, Jay, says Wesley. Having my energy drink. I've been drinking Corona Extra recently and Deep Eddies vodka. Yeah, Deep Eddies is pretty popular. That's from Texas, right? Well, they're both copper. The Branson may be a little lighter here. Clear, super clear copper. Now, when they come out, when they distill it, it's clear. They use white grapes. They don't have to use white grapes. Brandy can use red grapes if they want, but they have to use white. I guess they find it makes better brandy, I would imagine. It gets color from aging in the oak and maybe from caramel color. I think they're allowed to add that. But this has won a gold medal at like the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. That's a big competition every year. Then they got some tasting and aroma notes, which I'm not going to go into all that. It's so detailed. I never can pick all those things up. Small French oak casks. Perfect brandy for moments of refinement and indulgence. Okay. Where did I buy this? I think they had it at Star, which is a local liquor store and gas station. But it's like mainly liquor. I think it's technically a convenience store. There's the casks, the barrels. Oh, cold brew. So they're taking it and mixing it with cold brew coffee. I don't know why you want to waste it on that. But anyway, they have other cocktails. All these liquor company websites, you know, they immediately direct you to cocktails. Now there's St-Rémy Signature. That's even more expensive than the VSOP or the XO. I think that's their highest grade. That's a new one. That hadn't been around too long. The VSOP, that's everywhere, like Walmart, like I said, Total Wine and More's Common. I think Mathern sells it. St-Rémy Signature, St-Rémy Grand Blend. I have never before seen this. This must have just come out. First time I've ever heard of this. Edition #1. Okay, I see what's going on. They're going to make a new edition probably once a year. You know, you're not going to see that for $25. You know, some of these can be in the hundreds. And then there's a locator tool, so that might help you. Now they're showing red grapes. And they're showing walnuts, but I know they don't use walnuts in coffee. Oh, I guess that's the tasting notes. Yeah, so there you go. It's from a company called Rémy-Cointreau. And Cointreau is that orange liqueur, very popular. They have a cognac line that is producing cognac, and it's Cognac France, and it's called Rémy Martin. You probably heard of Rémy Martin. The master blender, Cécile Rudeau. Oh, she needs more tattoos. Okay, and there's just all this stuff. And that's who started St-Rémy, Rémy Martin, that man Rémy Martin. What is brandy? Brandy basics. It all starts with raw materials. Brandy, and that is showing red grapes. Okay. The majority are harvested, pressed, fermented into wine. You can stop there and sell wine. A lot of these brandy wineries, and they distill it into brandy. Now, I was reading on another cognac brandy website or French brandy website where they were saying brandy's using white grapes. So that kind of threw me off there seeing these red ones. Whiskey is from grains. Rum is produced from sugarcane. Tequila is produced from agave. They're all the same thing. It's just liquor produced from different raw materials. Tequila, you know, agave, rum, whiskey, grain, or grapes. It's your choice. General result. Oh, there's the scroller I'll keep. All right, so grapes for brandy or other fruit, because there's apple brandy is common. Grains for whiskey, sugarcane for rum, agave for tequila. With whiskey, they start with a beer. With rum, tequila, and they start with a wine. Obviously, sugarcane wine, agave wine, and grape wine. All right. Then they're showing the history of St-Rémy. 1886 in the French Republic. And Machecoul in the Loire Valley. And there was there was some kind of outbreak. They had to move it to this distillery. There was some kind of outbreak of like a mold that was killing the grapes. Fine St-Rémy is created in 1917. I guess that was a regular one. Then they came out with that bottle in 61, the current bottle. 1980, they launched the Napoleon VSOP, which the 1990, the XO. And then you get these private reserves. Well, they're not showing the reserves anymore, so I don't know. Cask finish collection. Oh, I guess they maybe still make them. I don't know. They change. You know, these companies change up their portfolio from time to time. If something doesn't move, they don't. Only showing these right now. I guess they cut out the cask finish, or they just simply don't show it because a lot of companies, they won't show it on the website. All right, here's Branson Cognac V.S Phantom. They say it tastes more like a VSOP. That's their opinion, not mine. Aged 2 to 3 years, but with some brandies in there over 4 years. But the typical aging on this 2 to 3 years. Not a hard and fast age statement. Actually, brandy doesn't typically have an age statement. That's usually not done with brandy. It's just a range type of thing. I remember being surprised by how much it costs to get a license to sell beer and wine. It costs a lot if someone's looking to start a store. Yeah, it's a complicated thing. It's done that way for certain reasons. Probably one of the reasons to keep people from starting a new store, because they want to protect the ones that are there. You know, a lot of these regulations are supposedly for safety and whatnot, but it's probably more like monopolistic reasons. And these liquor associations, they donate a lot of money to political candidates. True story. Okay, they don't want competition, by golly. Now, somebody started a new liquor store in my town last month called Cheap Liquor. I haven't gone there yet. I might pass by, but I don't see how it's going to make it. Every time they start a liquor store here, it fails. They've had 2 others. Both of them went out of business. They weren't bad. There's nothing bad about them. They just couldn't make it, because why would you take the time and effort to go to a liquor store here when you could just buy your liquor at Walmart or Winn-Dixie, and there's no lady behind the counter that got to pull it off the shelf for you? Okay, at Walmart or Winn-Dixie, the liquor is on the shelf. You just go there and buy it like you're buying Kleenex or mayonnaise. Okay, it is not a complicated thing. So it's very difficult for liquor stores to make it here. Now in Maryland, you can only buy any kind of alcohol at a liquor store. Beer, wine, or liquor, you can't buy at a grocery store, gas station, nothing. So very restricted. Why is that? Public safety? Well, that's what they'll tell you. But it's really because they want to protect the monopoly, the liquor stores that are juiced in and in cahoots with the government. Now you say that sounds terrible. Well, that's the way it rolls. Why do we subsidize corn? Why does the U.S. government give money to corn companies? They need the money. I seriously doubt Archer Daniels, Midland, and ConAgra and all them and Cargill needs money. But it's to squelch competition, honestly. Okay, but that's enough rant and raving. But this is a thing. These are things a lot of people just don't know. All right, so this is a true dark bottle, and this is a clear bottle with a dark covering over it. Okay, fine, that's fine either way. Oh, price, like I said, this will probably run you $24, which is not bad actually for an XO French, French imported brandy. This one cognac is gonna run you about $40, but I got it for $11.99. Yay! Now I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it happened. That's the truth. I'm not gonna try to cover things up. It did happen. Why did they sell it for $11.99? This I do not know, but I have an idea. When I went to buy it, it wouldn't ring up. The lady went to, at the checkout, it wouldn't scan. She's like, oh, no, not again. This is a common thing at these stores. It's not in the system. Okay, I said, oh, here we go. It was a big aggravation, but I didn't get angry. I just was like, ugh. So we went over to the liquor guy that liquor manager, and he's like, won't ring up. And he went look at the shelf, and it was on it. It was in front of an incorrect tag anyway. The tag that it was in front didn't even match. Another common problem at stores, have you noticed? Where they're so careless putting stuff on the shelf. So he's thinking about it. He says, sell it for $11.99. And I'm thinking, that sounds great. I hope it's a good deal. I don't know what this thing costs. I've never seen it in my life. So I bought one for myself, and I bought one for my friend for a present, friend David. Then when I started, as time permitted, I started doing research on the regular price, and I see it's $40. Even some stores selling it for $48.99, which is above the suggested retail price of $39.99. I was happy then. I was like, oh yeah, I got a great deal. But St-Rémy, I had to pay the regular price because it's always got a tag on it, and it always rings up. It always scans, you know. No money. This smells like grapes and wood. Raisins. They always smell like raisins and wood, though. Well, raisins made from grapes. Now, I say white grapes, but what is the website? The website showing white grapes. Actually, I think the website it's showing red grapes. I mean, but I think which are purple looking, right? But let's see this real fast. I think they're showing the diversity of French vineyards. They're showing Loire Valley, Champagne, Burgundy, Languedoc, Roussillon, which is over there by the Mediterranean Sea with a lot of stormy weather. It's kind of a bad place to live, but Bordeaux, but a good place for raising grapes. Oh, yeah. Well, you can read that. Now they're showing white grapes. They're showing red grapes. Okay. And they have a very intricate map of the regions. So honestly, if you want to learn a lot about brandy, you could just spend time on the St-Rémy website, and you could learn a lot about brandy and cognac, but it might take you an hour. That site is very dense and detailed. They don't just run through it and say, it's good, buy it, like a lot of these others do. And actually, the Branson website is very intricate and detailed. They go into depth on this is how we make each one. This is the grapes used. This is the wood used. And this is the process. And it's not something just to run through. I'm sure most people are not going to sit there and study it for a long time. But it's there. It's available, see? So if you say, I'd like to learn more about brandy, there's 2 websites linked below in this video that will help you. They've helped me, and I still have a lot to learn. A whole lot. My knowledge right now could probably be considered minimal. Okay. It's coming across with a lot of oak. Heavy oak. But I don't think they're using charred oak. We're not talking about bourbon over here. We're talking about brandy, and I think they're using oak barrels. Now, they might be old. They might have been reused 20 times, but I don't think they're charred. It's just wood, and you put the liquid in it. Okay. But it's different types of oak. Limousin, and there's other types of oak. There's different types of oaks in Louisiana. Live oak, water oak, white oak. But what's the preferred oak for the United States? White oak. They say it doesn't mess with the flavor as much. But I assume you could use any kind of oak. It just might mess the product. You know, people might say, why does brandy taste strange? Or why does bourbon taste off? Well, you wanted to use live oak, so. Not as much wood here. Grapes, yes. Liquor, yeah, they're 40%. You can taste the alcohol, but it's not too strong. But more grape, less oak. More oak, less grape, or a good amount of grape. When I was on the tour at Anheuser-Busch once, they said, do you know why we use beechwood? Beechwood from beech trees. I had no idea why. She said because it has the least smell and taste. It's like neutral. And we don't want the beer affected by the taste. And to make sure of that, she said before they use the beech wood in the aging process, they bleach it with bleach, I guess, and then they somehow clean it and they put. So they only use it as a rough surface for the yeast to cling on to, cling on to. Now, my friend David will always, it doesn't have a beechwood flavor. It doesn't have a beechwood flavor. And I always get aggravated and say it's not supposed to. It's a neutral product. It's a neutral component of the brewing process. If it had a flavor from wood, it would be off. But he can't get that in. He's like, no, they told us on the tour. I said, are you sure? Because even on the website, it just tells you what it's about, that they use it for a surface area. But I'm not going to argue with people, if that's what you want to believe. But it says neutral, and they went into detail on it. And she was showing us the wood. They put it in this like a sub tank, like a container type of thing. It's interesting, Budweiser gets a lot of hate, but it's not a just thrown together product. It's very intricately made. And now some people are telling me it always tastes different every time. It's not consistent. I have not noticed it. I'm not defending them. I'll be the last person to defend them anyway, honestly. But I've just never noticed that. I've started trying Budweiser in 1996. That's the first year in my life that I'm aware of that I ever tried it. And off and on through the years. I'm not a regular Budweiser drinker because I don't like the price, to tell you the truth. And I've never noticed any difference at all. This is me. I can only speak for myself. Never once have I noticed any difference. Others may disagree. Oh, it's different. Clearly different. Okay. I'm telling you what I've noticed. Nothing. No difference. It's always the same. I saw Budweiser in England. I didn't buy it because I was not really there for long. I was on a quick trip. I was in other countries longer, but I was just on the way back. I had a layover at the airport for it's like 18-hour layover. So I had time to go look around London and all. And of course, I did the typical stuff. Go look at the palace, Buckingham Palace. Then went by St. James Palace and saw that. I didn't know what it was when I was there. And then I saw I could have gone to London Bridge, but it was so cold. It was 32 degrees. And I thought, I can't take it. I'm not walking another few blocks to go see that bridge. I know what it looks like. I'm sure it would have been nice, but it was in November and it was a cold front had come through and it was nasty. You could tell it had just rained and I was like, dampness, it was bad. But then, me, my tourist attraction was going to a store and looking at the beer selection. That was my tourist attraction. So I went to Asiatic Superstore, and I can tell you where it is. I know the location. And they had Budweiser, and it was the 5%. I said, wait, time out. I thought England only got this 4.5% shabby thing made there. So some British United Kingdom viewers said, no, we'll see what happened was you probably saw some imported Budweiser. It might have been from the United States or Canada for all we know. It was in tall cans, the pints in a 6-pack. The price wasn't any more than here. It was like about the same. And it was actually maybe a little cheaper. I didn't examine where it was from. That was my mistake. But I just saw 5%. But I was saying, why would they import it if they're making it there? That confused the what out of me. I was going to say the heck out of me, confused the heck out of me. But I wanted to try something different, so I tried the Karpacki from Poland, 9%. I figured we'll go out with a bang here in merry old England, 9% Polish beer. Nothing says England like 9% Polish beer. And it was very interesting, I have to admit, and not expensive. I thought the prices over here are going to be this exorbitant. This is my thing. I think now they are. That was going on 2 years ago. But at the time, just talking about Asiatic Superstore, I bought the sandwich and the beer, and it wasn't that high. I still have it on the record. I could find out. But I mean, we're talking about just nothing, Red cheese sandwich and tuna. I like tuna sandwich and red cheese. I looked at it. I said, red cheese. That looks like pimento cheese to me, but that's what they call it. was a good breakfast. That was actually what I ate for breakfast. Coffee, a red cheese tuna sandwich on brown bread, and a 9% alcohol beer. Then it was off to catch the train to the airport. Okay, that's a nice product. Don't know what it is. Did they have a lot of liquor to buy over there in England? Yeah, of course. Did they have a wide variety? You bet they did. You can imagine that they did. And at the airport, it was amazing because I had so much time to kill. You know, they always tell you, get there so early, get there so early, because it could be a problem, which is true. Of course, you know that. So then I got there so early, and then I'm like, what am I gonna do for all these hours? Because then I got there and there was no line at the check, at the security. It was like hardly anybody in line. And then the guy was giving me trouble a little bit because my passport photo wasn't matching my face because I had a big beard at the time of the trip, but my photo I was clean shaven, no mustache even. So the computer couldn't read it. Like you put it and it's supposed to be automatic artificial intelligence, and it was rejecting it. So then the guy was like looking at me carefully. Then he realized, yeah, okay, just a beard, no beard. And they asked me a few questions, what are you coming to England for and all that. I gave my honest answers. And then so then I was just got right through security in a snap. And then I was bored to death. And I said, oh, look, the people are eating the English breakfast. Well, I didn't buy that. I said, that looks like a lot like an American breakfast. Sausage, they call them bangers. Sausage, eggs, potatoes, like diced potatoes fried in a skillet, like you would get in Pennsylvania or something. What they call it, home fries. And then some tomato slices, not unusual. And then, but they had baked beans, like Heinz baked beans. I said, well, I don't think you see that too much in America for breakfast, but you might see it for a barbecue with a hot dog, But anyway, it was fine, but I was looking at the prices for that breakfast. I'm like, what? Airport prices, I said $12, whatever pounds, but it was translating to like $12. And I was like, I don't think so. Oh man. But they were buying it left and right. The people were sitting at all those breakfast restaurants, scarfing it down, I'm gonna tell you. But I was walking around those liquor stores and the availability, the selection was amazing. I couldn't get over it. Same thing in Houston, not Houston. Well, yeah, there too. That's right. I went to the Houston airport. What am I thinking? But Dallas Fort Worth is even amazing, very amazing. Or New Orleans, it's all right. It's not as big of the airport. You see, we got one terminal. England got 5. It's like 5 airports and 1 airport property, 5 terminals. You got to make sure you get to the right terminal, or then you stuck. You got to go through this. It's like Dallas Fort Worth. I think it's 5 terminals. It's a headache and a half. But you got this little trolley that takes you around. Doesn't cost anything. But boy, I couldn't get over the liquor and beer too. I mean, it was amazing. And my friend David was like, "Why you didn't buy any? Why you didn't buy?" I said, "I'm going to transport that back." I brought a knapsack. That was my luggage, a knapsack. I wasn't going to haul a bunch of luggage around. That is for certain. I said, ain't no way I'm paying all this money to haul back liquor that I never heard of and don't really even want. And well, look at the selection in New Orleans. You're never going to run out of selection of beer, wine, and liquor here anyhow. But it was nice to see. And then they did let me try some stuff, which was really good, especially that Chivas Brothers. What was that stuff? Chivas Royal Salute, 21-year age. Oh, man. Wow. And they asked me, did I want to try it? I didn't go up there begging to try it. She just stopped me and said, sir, would you like to try a Royal Salute? And I'm thinking, what? You know I would. I didn't say it like that. I was like, oh, I really would. And I did. And then she just kept talking to me, talking to me. And then this older guy was looking funny, like, why is this man trying to chat her up? This girl's only 20 years old. And I'm thinking, I was looking at him like, I'm not trying to chat her up. She's talking to me. You see all these customers here, like no one. Says it's like 10 in the morning, ain't nobody here. And he's over there, comes kind of like edging into the conversation. I got a laugh out of that, private laugh. I'm like, these people, meaning everybody in the world. I said, she approached me about the liquor and she keeps talking about all these things, which was fine because I had nothing else to do all day. I mean, all those hours. I may as well talk to somebody about whatever. And she's telling me she had no experience with liquor, but she tries this. Sometimes she likes to try that and blah, blah, blah. And they were all Indians, they spoke with an India accent, which doesn't bother me. But I thought that was comical. But anyway, these two products are very nice. Would I recommend both of these? Absolutely, without a hesitation. But I have to say, I have to give the win to, I can't even, let me say, this is the St-Rémy. Oh, it's the Branson first failure in this series. But I thought that heavy oak, now I thought the heavy oak would indicate the St-Rémy XO, extra age, 6 to 10 years, not this 2 to 3 year, but I got fooled. And I would say as far as flavor, though, it's about a tie. That you could pull your hair out and say, you're crazy. Why are you even doing these videos? You can't tell a VS from an XO. What's wrong with you, fool? Hey, well, answer. I could not tell them apart. Obvious, because I got it wrong. So, I ain't seen a lot of people out here doing blind taste tests with cognac and brandy, though. So if you saying I'm wrong, where's your challenges? I'll watch them. But I have to give the win to St-Rémy regardless because it's $15 cheaper. So would I pay $15 more for one of these versus the other? No way. Definitely not. Because there's no advantage to it. I mean, you want to pay the $15, go ahead, but what are you getting? You say, oh, it's so much better. It's so much more elaborate. No, it isn't better, and it's not more elaborate. What did I say in the video? I said, great. I said, golden raisins and wood. And then I said, golden raisins and not so much wood. That's all I said. Golden raisins and wood, golden raisins and not so much wood. I didn't talk about all these other exotic flavors they talking about in the taste notes, pears and honey and cardamom and all these things. But I don't detect any of that. Mostly due probably to a lack of expertise or ability. But that's my opinion. Do I plan to bring in another French brandy? Yep, I have one lined up. It's called Brandy Saint-Louis. But it's only been out since 2018, a year before the Branson. Brandy Saint-Louis. It's owned by a Texas company. A lady owns it. It's actually a proprietary. It's just a lady who owns it. But it's produced in France for her. Contract distilled, common thing, sourced, whatever you want to call it. Independent bottling, same thing, but it's good. But it has a range, once again, 3 to 10 years. It's aged 3 to 10 years. You say, well, how in the world can you age something 3 to 10 years? Well, you're not actually aging at 3 to 10 years. You're blending in different brandies. See, it might be 20 different brandies. The youngest is 3 years old and the oldest is 10. So then you get that range from the youngest to the oldest, okay? It's like Crown Royal. You say, but they don't have an age statement on Crown Royal. I know. But they use 50 different whiskeys, which are aged various amounts of time. Now, there might be 25-year-old whiskey in there, but it might only be 1% of the blend. Most of it's probably 2 or 3 years old, young. See, Crown Royal tastes kind of young, but there's always like something a little special to it. You ever notice that? Crown Royal is like, it's not really ordinary. And I actually never hear anybody say that. I never see anybody saying, oh, it's just run-of-the-mill Canadian whiskey. No one ever says that. They'll say I don't like it too much or something like that. but they won't say it's just or because they know as well. There's something like special to it. You can't pinpoint it though. You don't know. It's like there's something about this. I can't pin it down. You said that might be why it's the #1 selling whiskey in the United States. Exactly. #1. And I was talking to a distributor guy last week. I said, Crown Royal, the king. He said, it is the king. I said, it's the best selling whiskey in America. He said, it's unbelievable. That's his words, unbelievable. And then I saw him yesterday. He was trucking out Crown Royal Apple and Crown Royal Original Deluxe, Fine Deluxe. Every week, they're packing it on the shelf. Every week. Apple, usually Apple and the original. Oh yeah, they have other flavors, the peach and the other stuff, but in the blackberry. But the big ones is the Apple. The big ones are the Apple and the Fine Deluxe Original from 1939. And that stuff sells off the chain. Walmart, Winn-Dixie, Mathern's. I'm talking about my town. Every Crown Royal is rolling out in an endless clip. You could say it's all marketing. Oh, really? It's all marketing, huh? Okay. If I gave you $1 for every time I saw a Crown Royal commercial, you might have what, $1? It's just self-perpetuating. People drink it. They like it. It keeps growing. You know, I know somebody that lives in St. James Parish. They have a whole room full of Crown Royal bottles. It's like a hobby for them. They try to get every type of Crown Royal variant, young, old, specialty. It's amazing. Their collection, they put it on Facebook. It's like, wow. And that's what they focus on, you know, and other people focus on Coca-Cola, like every can, bottle, variant. Does it accomplish anything? No, that's what a hobby is. It's like, it doesn't accomplish anything. It's something to do. It's fun, you know. All right. Well, enough of this. Been a long video, but it's been a fun video. So cheers to Branson for defeating. Really, it defeated it in the sense that I couldn't tell it apart, and it's a younger product. But unfortunately, it loses in price because I don't think the $40 is justified. And I saw a video yesterday where a guy said, it's great. I love it. He said, I can't think of anything wrong with it. He just said, yes, sir. It's so good. He said, but there's one little problem, and it's $40. He said, if this was $30, it would be out of this world. $30 out of the world. But he said the $40 is killing it. That was his opinion. I agree with him. All right, y'all take care. See y'all next time for Branson versus Brandy St. Louis.